Okay, I've played with these a couple different ways now, and I think the best way that we can do the we need to essentially rewrite the malleability activity because I think that the way that we're currently asking teachers and students to do it, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And so essentially what I want to do is I'm doing this to offer, a new kind of way to think about doing this experiment. And hopefully you could see this, but essentially the way that I'm going to recommend that we do this to test the malleability is actually, I'm going to call it like a twist test. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this thumb down and I'm going to pull this end up. And then if you can see, I'll try to get this, it's kind of like reversed for me. If you could see, like, this is about as far as this metal wants to let me twist it, right? It's not much, like it definitely gets to a point where it's like, I don't want to go anymore. I can tell that if I really push this, I try to push it, like I'm either going to rip it or like bend it in a way that it won't come back. I'm going to actually like change what this strip looks like physically, right? Now if I do the same thing with this zinc strip, which is thicker, it is a thicker metal, but I can tell that this metal, it's more likely to let me move it, if that makes sense. You might just have to get these things in your hand to really feel what I'm talking about. But it just has more flex when you twist it like this. Okay? It is a bit of a thicker strip, but I think if you use this demonstration, that's not going to matter. You'll definitely be able to tell, like, this metal wants to stop. It doesn't want to twist anymore. This one, it'll let you keep going. Here's the copper. This is the next most malleable of the metals that we send. And it also, I would say it's similar to the zinc, maybe a little bit more so. Like it definitely, it wants to stop, but then it just kind of keeps going. Like it kind of lets you keep going. So it's a little bit more malleable, feels a little bit more malleable than the zinc one. And then this is the aluminum one. This is the most malleable of all the metals that we send. And this one, it's very, I don't know, bendy. Like it's very flimsy, it feels like. It definitely will let you kind of move it around more. So I think it's pretty obvious when you do it this way that aluminum is going to be obviously the most malleable of all of them. I think that one's going to be obvious. I think between copper and zinc you're going to have some question, and then between zinc and iron you're probably going to have some question. But I think that generally if people were to put copper against iron, they would get that copper is more malleable than iron, right? So I think that if you were to kind of lay it out in a different way and not try to put them from 1, 2, 3, 4, but say like aluminum to iron, and then copper to zinc, and then copper to iron, zinc to aluminum, you get them to compare them against each other. And then I think through the process of saying this one is more malleable than this one, and this one is more malleable than this one, so therefore, this one is, we need to compare these two, and you just be able to order them a little bit better, I think. Anyway, so that's how I think we should redo the malleability experiment. I think it's going to keep the strips in better shape. I'm not exactly sure how teachers are doing this experiment because the textbook asks them to roll it. So I'm assuming that they're trying to like literally, roll it around like their finger, right? But I feel like if you were to do that, like these strips are going to get worn out really quick, especially iron and zinc, because they're not really meant to be used like that. These are more like electrodes. They're meant to be used for like, testing conductivity and things like that. So anyway, yeah.